Lads, Christian the HavreCardMan here, back at you with a deck profile today. But before we get into it, I just want to ask, do you all know your alphabet? Because today, we are going to teach you the ABCs. All jokes aside, guys, today we are going to be checking out my Scrap ABC deck profile, which was actually requested on our Prank Kids deck profile, kind of. We got a request to do an ABC profile. Patrick didn't really know what to do with it. I looked at it and I said, alright, let's do it. So, this is actually something I've been working on for a while. I just finally got around to making the deck actually work, and I think it functions in a lot of fun ways. So, before we actually get into the main deck here and start going with the deck profile, guys, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. 15 likes on this video, and I'll hit you guys with a combo tutorial later on, and maybe even some online games if you guys want to see it actually in practice. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into the main deck here, starting off with our Scrap Engine. The biggest part of this deck that makes it really function is going to be 3 copies of Scrap Recycler and 3 copies of Scrap Raptor, as is mandatory for the Scrap package. Of course, also being accompanied by 2 Scrap Golems. And then our honorary scrap cards, Christian Rosenix, as well as World Legacy, World Chalice, and World Legacy, World Crown. Finally, to pair off the monster lineup for the Scrap Engine is 1 copy of Codebreaker 0 Day. And these last, 5 cards will all make sense once we get into the extra deck. But onto the spell cards of the Scrap Engine, now we are running 2 Scrap Yard, 1 Scrap Factory, and also for very good reason, just provides bonus extensions. Scrapyard will search out your Scrap Raptors, and pairing that with 2 more copies of Fossil Dig, that gives you 7 ways of access into Scrap Raptor in a 50 card deck, which means that you actually have 10 ways to get into your Scrap Recycler, which will get your combo started right away. Next up here to finish off the Scrap package is 2 copies of World Legacy Succession, because you never know when you're going to draw into it, but you still want to be able to search it off the combo because it just feels so darn good. Alright, now that we're done with the scraps, we can go ahead and check out the ABC engine. Moving on to the ABCs now, we are going to start off with 2 copies of A Assault Core, 3 copies of B Buster Drake, your main searcher for the Union monsters, and 2 copies of C Crush Wyvern. I've seen these as kind of standard ratios for the ABC lineup. I've seen people go as far as to put C at 1, and sometimes the same with A. You can definitely condense this package if you want to, but I like having the extra level 4 machines, and you will see why later. It'll make sense. Then, of course, 2 copies of Union Driver. Yes, Union Carrier is banned, but Union Driver is still a good card, alright? Don't judge me on that. And finally, 2 copies of Torque Tune Gear for the monsters. Now for the spell part here, we got 2 copies of Unauthorized Reactivation, just giving you a free Union equip from deck to get you into the Union Driver if you don't have any other ways to access it. And also just super good if you want to protect something, because any of your 3 ABC monsters will actually give you protection for whatever monster it's equipped to based on which one it is. So, super cool there. And then 3 copies of Union Hanger to finish up the ABC, because Union Hanger is just such an awesome card for this strategy. I absolutely love it. Now for the Supplemental Engines, aka the Machina and PK parts of the deck, we're actually running fairly, well, kind of smallish package for these. They're 6 cards apiece. For Machinas, we are running 1 Fortress, 1 Machina Citadel, and 1 of the actual new Machina Ruin Force. This card is just such an absolute powerhouse, and I've been able to set up really strong going first boards with this guy in the graveyard as set up for the following turn to just allow you to OTK and absolutely destroy your opponent. It is so satisfying and it feels so good. Pairing that up next with 3 copies of Urgent Schedule. This actually makes it really easy for you to extend past your opponent's initial plays if you're going second, or if they, can ash something, or you can use this to bait and ash even. This just, it helps you in so many ways to be able to play through your scrap combo. If they do what, if they gamma your Scrap Raptor or your Recycler or whatever, you just don't have anything on field, you can slap down that Urgent Schedule, and it feels so good. So for the PK stuff, we are running 2 copies of Silent Boots. Probably could reduce this to 1, but I like having 2 for a follow-up play. It's just hilarious. And then 1 copy of the Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak. And then 2 copies for the trap cards. 2 copies of the Phantom Knights Fogblade. and then 1 copy of Phantom Knight's Shade Brigandine, because just extenders, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. And just the final cards to finish up the main deck here that give us a little extra consistency and added fun. We have 1 copy of Terraforming, 1 copy of Set Rotation, because we're running the Scrap Factory and the Union Hangar. Most cases, our opponent's not really going to be able to make use of either, so it doesn't matter which one we give them. And then 1 Imperial Order to round off the deck. Now, this is very up to whatever happens with the upcoming ban list, so we will see on that. So that's it for the main deck. This the whole point of this is really honestly just link spamming, and then ending on an ABC Dragon Buster for extra disruption, and then even crazier link power during the opponent's turn. It's just absolutely fun deck, whole tons of potential, and let's climb into the extra deck so we can actually unveil all of that power for you guys. Alright, now onto the extra deck here. We're going to start off with our Link 2 monsters. We have 1 copy of IP Masquerena, very, very useful for the ABC package, almost an auto-include for any ABC build. 1 Crystron Halqifibrax, this is where the Torque Tune gear actually comes into play. 2 copies of Scrap Wyvern, because Scrap combo is just insane. Why wouldn't you want to go and do it twice? 1 copy of Lib, the World Keyblade Master, which is where your World Chalice and World Crown come in. And then next up here we have 1 Codebreaker Virus Swordsman. To go along with that, we also have 1 Codebreaker Virus Berserker, just to allow you to climb up into a lot of insane stuff. The Codebreaker package is super essential to this, and I would not recommend taking it out if we're being quite honest. And then 1, the Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche, just our good old Bardy boy to get us into our extra disruptions in the form of Fog Blades, or an extra extenders in the form of Silent Boots and Shade Brigandine. Just absolutely powerhouse of a card. 1 Curious, the Lightsworn Dominion. This really honestly just gets us instant access to our Imperial Order when you pair it with the next card in our lineup, which is actually a Nightmare Griffin. When you pair the Curious and then go into a Nightmare Griffin, discarding a card to get that Imperial Order back, 9 times out of 10 in this deck you have that Nightmare Griffin co-linked. So not only are you getting your Imperial Order back, you're getting to draw to be able to take care of the card that you just discarded from your hand. It's super awesome play. I absolutely love it. And Curious can sometimes actually get you some really, really helpful dumps. So I love having that card. Last few cards here, just extra Link 4s. We have 1 Apollosa, Bow of the Goddess, 1 Saryuja Skull-Dread, absolutely essential to the combo, and 1 Unchained Abomination for our Link monsters. And then to round off the extra deck is 2 ABC Dragon Buster. So, once again, the entire point of this deck, you're going to be going through the Scrap combo, climbing up into your Link monsters like Saryuja, going into the Codebreaker combo, which will eventually put you through Curious Lightsworn to set you up with the Nightmare Griffin, so you can end on a board like a Nightmare Griffin in your main monster zone that doesn't point to anything your opponent can use, with an ABC Dragon Buster directly above it so they can't use the extra monster zone, as well as having next to it an Apollosa that you make during your opponent's turn with your ABC monsters, so that you can trigger their effects and have it be protected from card effects by an IP Masquerena. And you're also going to end up with a Bardiche on your board, because Bardiche is Bardiche, can't be used for anything else. But he's there, he's provided you value, and this deck just has absolutely insane potential. So once again, guys, if you want to see this deck, if you want to have combo tutorial and you want to have a separate video for actual duels like replays of me taking this deck and piloting it, be sure to hit that like button down below. If we can hit 15, I will get it done for you. And, let me know down in the comments what you guys think of this deck, if there's any tweaks that can be made. Obviously, it's a 51 card list, so there's definitely some cutting that could be done to it to make it more consistent, but honestly, so far, I have not had any problems. So that's all I got for you guys today in this video. Be sure to stay tuned for the content we got coming up for you. We got some pretty sweet things on the way, and I might even have a Sun Avalon list coming before too long. But that aside, guys, once again, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe if you guys enjoy the content, and we will catch you next time. Remember, guys, good fun. Have luck.